We're live. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Dugout. I mean, chaotic last 30 minutes. The IPL may be
30
over.
or more than 30?
Yeah, more than 30. IPL may be over, but administrative dramas are never over. And on top of that, we have India South Africa coming up. So, pretty chaotic, na, Rahul?
Yeah, absolutely. Saurav Ganguly, of course, ever since he tweeted a statement, obviously that was a very speculative sort of a statement, a cryptic statement, and ever since that speculations over there that is Saurav Ganguly actually joining politics, A, and secondly, then came the news, of course, which eventually turned out to be a fake one, that he has resigned as the board president. So all those rumors can take a back seat as of now. We'll let you know whenever and if and when it happens. But today what we are doing, of course, as you said, the IPL is certainly over, and the India South Africa series that is scheduled to start on 9th of this month. It's a new month in June, and from 9th to 19th of this month, India will play 5 T20 internationals against South Africa at home, and the squads for both the teams have been announced. Of course, from the Indian squad, the names like Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Jasprit Bumrah are missing, and from South Africa, it's a full strength T20 squad. And what we are going to do today is, because there are a few fresh faces also, there are a few players who are actually in contention of making it to the Indian team or the Indian squad, because T20 World Cup is not too far from now. In October, 16th of October, if I'm not wrong, 16th of October, the T20 World Cup will start. So it's going to be an audition of sorts for for a lot of Indian players who are in contention, and these auditions will continue, won't stop with this one series, but it will continue. So who are these players who are in the fray? Me and Siddharth, we both will try and dissect and discuss what exactly happens from now.
And before we start this dissection, let us point out that this is the players that we have selected only for this particular series. Remember, there is no Surya Kumar Yadav who's out injured, so he will be considered for the England and Ireland tours, hopefully. Not Ireland, England. So remember, after the South Africa series, there is, I'm only counting T20Is. T20Is against Ireland, England, West Indies, the Asia Cup, Sri Lanka and Australia before the World T20.
Exactly.
So
if you can see, we have compiled a few numbers, and you must be wondering what these numbers are. So over a period of next half an hour, what we are going to do is, these are the numbers from the IPL. From the IPL this season that just got over. So Siddharth, please take
So we are just going to debate upon what is the mentality of each of the players, considering how they have performed in the IPL and the momentum that they are getting in towards the South Africa series, and for the South African players for this upcoming series. So the first name that I would look at it is KL Rahul. Now Rahul, brilliant, 616, fourth time he's gone past 600, but this is a major area of concern.
But this was the IPL. Now I also have which you've given me. What you've given me is the international numbers for these players. So this 15 matches, 616 runs at a strike rate of 136.2. It rises to 142.49 in international cricket. KL Rahul. So if we are talking about auditions, I think KL Rahul does make it to your not just the squad but also the 11. As of today, if everything goes absolutely fine, I think KL Rahul, we might see KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma opening for India in that first game against Melbourne, at Melbourne in the T20 World Cup.
Yes.
Obviously, as you said, strike rate here. Maybe there are a few things that KL Rahul may work upon.
Because we spoke about situational, if you have to look at it. In the game against, if you may say, against Kolkata Knight Riders.
Right.
He played the second field to Quinton de Kock because de Kock was scoring at 200. But the same approach hurt them in the eliminator against RCB.
Against RCB.
So in this South Africa series, is he heading with doubts over his batting, or he's just shut out the outside noise and said strike rate is overrated?
Well, that's what he does usually after scoring, a century, or if he gets a good knock. That's what he does. Maybe an indication to all the people, all the critics around the world, that he is not bothered about what they say about his strike rate, his performances, a lot of those things. But I think, KL Rahul still, there's a lot of work that needs to be done as far as KL Rahul is concerned. He is a brilliant batsman, and I've often said this in the past, that the good thing about criticism is you criticize those from whom you have expectations. Because KL Rahul is such a good looking batsman, is such a good player, that is the reason why people often criticize him, because he has so much potential to deliver every time he walks into the field. So that is perhaps one of the reasons why he is a lot of times on the radar of people, fans, experts, former players, maybe current players to a great extent.
Indeed. Now I will just talk about this current lot. They are all the pretenders to the 11 that we are talking about.
Look
at the depth.
Ruturaj Gaikwad, Ishan Kishan, Deepak Hooda and Shreyas Iyer.
These four, out of that, potentially only one might get a chance in the World T20.
And I think the bigger toss-up would be between Deepak Hooda and Shreyas Iyer. Although here I would also want to throw one more name, DK. That is Dinesh Karthik. Remember, see, if today so many people out on the other side of this camera would be watching us, if I ask them, give me your 15, because 15, remember, the COVID protocols have now been relaxed, and like last time, we may not see a 20-member squad. Eventually what happens is, for ICC tournaments, you have to announce a 15-member squad. So last year, you would remember that India did announce an 18 or 20-member squad, but eventually the first 15 names are the ones that actually play the ICC tournament. Now, if I ask you, give me your 15, I think more or less it would be same. See, KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Surya, Rishabh Pant, Hardik Pandya,
DK,
Ravindra Jadeja. Okay, I'll come to that. Ravindra Jadeja is your, or rather, what I'm going to say. So, Rohit, KL, Virat, Surya, Rishabh Pant, Hardik Pandya. These are your 6 players. Now you will have 5 fast bowlers and 3 spinners. Right? And that would be 5 plus 3 is 8. So 8 plus 6 is 14. So now you have just one spot. And possibly for that one spot, Shreyas Iyer would be fighting for that one spot, Deepak Hooda would be fighting for that one spot, and Dinesh Karthik would also be fighting for that one spot, unless there is some injury to one of your frontline batsmen.
Or if they perform exceptionally well and given a longer rope. Because Rituraj, see, as we have said, he played 3 matches in that series against Sri Lanka, didn't get a long rope, and he struggled in this IPL. 2 knocks, 2-3 knocks were there, but again, an average of 126 as a opener, especially he's fighting for that opening slot. Very difficult for him to break through. Even with Ishan Kishan had that 2020 heights, wherein he was aggressive, scored at a good rate. But again, 2 knocks, I would again say 2-3 knocks inflated his number. He had a big trough. And that, I would say, it hampered his confidence.
I think first couple of games he was decent, but thereafter started his deep downfall, and towards the end he got a few good knocks that, as you said, inflated his numbers to an extent.
But Shreyas Iyer will be very hard done, because such is the depth. He will struggle to find a place, if I have to look at it.
And not just in the 11, we are talking about 15. The squad, the 15-member squad. Deepak Hooda, with Deepak Hooda, the advantage is that he can bowl those off spinners also. And when we say that you will have 5 fast bowlers and 3 spinners, so you also have to see that Yuzi Chahal will definitely be part of that squad. Okay, Jadeja.
Yep.
As of now, although he had a below par below par IPL,
Yes.
but still he, on the basis of his experience, potential, ability, I think he also would make that cut most likely. Then you have the third spinner. Now third spinner could be your Kuldeep Yadav. It could be Washington Sundar. So in case if there is no Washington Sundar, you might want to have somebody like Deepak Hooda who can bowl those off spinners, because if Kuldeep goes a Chinaman, Chinaman bowler, Yuzi Chahal leg spinner, and then Ravindra Jadeja a left arm spinner. So you may want to have an off spinner. So that Deepak Hooda does give you that that
depth,
option,
if you may have to say. Now we come to this particular portion, which I feel the first three names. Okay, if we have to say, if you want to try out our captaincy contenders, okay, Hardik Pandya, we also talked about DK.
What captaincy contender?
If I may have to say, in the future, this is an audition even after
But
the World
first you
T20.
need to have a vice captain, the person who is given a long enough run as a vice captain. I think only that person should be made your future captain after Rohit Sharma.
Yes. Now the names in here, Rishabh Pant will definitely feature. He's your first choice keeper, so he will be there. DK, what a season he had. I mean, 183 strike rate, 55. That too coming in at 6-7.
And it was only towards the end that strike rate dropped down to 183. Otherwise, it was
200.
It was close to 200.
And what wrong did DK do? Again, as you mentioned in previous other chats, confusion of formats. When he was doing so well in the T20 format, you dropped him. You got him in the ODI squad where he struggled in the World Cup. Now he was left out in the wilderness again. So now what do you do with DK? Because he's in prime form in the T20 setup. Does he make it to the 15? Although he may play in the South Africa series, I think he'll feature in all the games. But will he be your first choice keeper, replacing Pant for Australia?
For T20 World Cup?
T20 World Cup.
See, one thing is for sure, I think DK will get a decent run.
Yes.
See, as you also have a name of Venkatesh Iyer here. I don't know whether he will be given those many opportunities as DK would get. And also, it's a 5-match series. We'll have to see if Rishabh Pant leaves this series midway to join the Indian Test squad, because you have to play a warm-up game also against Leicester.
Yeah,
Leicestershire.
Yep, Leicester.
Against Leicestershire, you're going to play a warm-up game. So if there is if it does happen that Rishabh Pant, flies out after 3 games, DK steps in as your number 1 wicket keeper.
Yes.
So I think DK will get opportunities, because if you are bringing a 37-year-old experienced player back into the Indian team, I'm sure he'll get a good opportunity, a good number of games to prove his credentials and potential, as if you're looking at T20 World Cup.
Exactly. Now the question with Hardik Pandya, if I may have to say, won the title with Gujarat Titans.
Yes.
But the more relevant question, is he going to bowl more often? Because he picked up 3 wickets, 3 crucial wickets in the final. And on top of that, he had a decentish economy rate, if I have to look at it. If I may have to say, Pandya 487 runs and a total of 8 to 10 wickets was the MVP for Gujarat Titans. But the more pertinent question, will he bowl more often in this format? Especially heading into the World T20 in Australia.
And do let us know if there are any questions.
Yep.
Anyways, sorry, you please carry on.
So, Hardik Pandya is a certainty. We all have picked him up in our starting 11 for the World T20, not just the 15. He's there. But will he bowl?
Will he bowl?
More often.
After the final against Rajasthan Royals, when he came for the presentation ceremony, he said that I had saved this performance, as in bowling performance, for the last. So he saved his best for the last. So he was prepared that he may need to bowl he did start bowling. In fact, he was sharing the new ball with Mohammad Shami in the initial stages of the IPL, and then he had that groin injury or strain, and then he missed one game, and then came back, didn't bowl again. And the next time we saw him bowl was the final against Rajasthan Royals, and he did incredibly well with those 3 wickets. I think he will bowl.
He will have to bowl because then it adds
Yes.
a different dimension to the Indian team,
Exactly.
and it begins from the South Africa series.
Yes.
Because this South Africa series is the first step in trying to establish your core. Now, the core, I just hope, like what we did in the mistakes of 2019 and in 2021, you don't establish the core 1 month prior to the tournament. Establish the core potentially, say, around the West Indies or before the Asia Cup. Because that is the ideal time. Asia Cup is in August.
Right.
Play with that core. September and October, you know what is your team.
Exactly.
What are your shortcomings.
Exactly.
That's how we won the 2011 World Cup and the 2013 Champions Trophy.
True.
So, the auditioning for the core begins now.
I think by the start of or by the end of the Asia Cup, even not by the end of the Asia Cup, I think before the Asia Cup starts, as you are saying, you should know who your 15 players are going to be going into that T20 World Cup final or going into that T20 World Cup. If not 15, you may have a few, maybe a couple of names, a few options that you must be thinking about. It can maximum to maximum be 16 players. You should know that these are the 16 players or possibly 17 players at max, and amongst these 16-17 players we have to pick 15.
Yep.
So no last minute this thing chaos like it happened in 2019 World Cup.
Yep. Now we move to the bowlers. Yeah, what is the question?
So Hardik Pandya, Gaurav is asking, Hardik Pandya said he always wanted to promote himself in batting. He did it for GT and did well. Should Indian team also look into this or reserve him at the number 5-6 spot as a finisher?
See, up the order, if you're saying, I think the 11, number 4, if Hardik, Gaurav basically, okay, I'll just repeat what he said. Gaurav is saying that Hardik Pandya, after that IPL final, he said that I always wanted to bat up the order. And he's done pretty good batting up the order in that throughout the IPL.
Yeah.
So he's asking, should he bat again in the up in the
Bat
middle
up
order?
the order for the Indian team.
Bat up the order in the Indian
That's
team.
a tough call.
Exactly, because see, KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and then you have Surya Kumar Yadav. The moment you push Hardik up the order, where would Surya bat then?
Exactly. Once again, you're fiddling with the top order, which is not worth it. Because Surya's position is 4. Kohli, but again, many people said Kohli can even open. But then where does Rahul bat? Now, that conundrum, everybody needs to have a slot. Kohli did open. He said, no, that I want to open in the IPL, but it didn't work.
And he did open for India also. It didn't work too well there also.
Work.
Then he
Even
had to come back.
in this IPL, Virat Kohli, see, we are not included his number, but he's rested for the series. He didn't have a good time in the IPL. Just 22, which was his worst since 2012, if I may have to say. Before that Kohli peak.
Yeah.
And then after that, we saw how it became. But then now we shift our attention to the bowlers. Yajuvendra Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav, they pick themselves because that's a sure shot. Because in Australia, both these guys have an excellent record.
Right.
Now, the other 3, so far, if I may have to look at it, Rahul, the question of depth is not so problematic with the Indian bowling lineup. Why? Because Yajuvendra Chahal, Kuldeep Yadav select themselves, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami select themselves. Now, for that other spot, there is Akshar Patel, Ravi Bishnoi, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar.
No, but see, Ravi Bishnoi, Akshar Patel would be fighting for a spinner slot. And
we already have 3.
Bhuvi, most likely, I think Bhuvi, the way he's been bowling lately, not just the IPL, but a couple of series before that also, the way he's been bowling, if he keeps himself fit, I think he should make the cut. Bhuvi should make the cut. So 5 fast bowlers, most likely India will go in with 5 fast bowlers and 3 spinners. Yuzi Chahal, sure shot. He is going there. Now the other 2 spinners, whether it is going to be Kuldeep Yadav, whether it is going to be Ravindra Jadeja, whether it is going to be Washington Sundar, or out of the blue once again, you make or you take a decision to get in R. Ashwin again back in the fray. Yeah,
because again, Ashwin Bishnoi, if I have to look at it, Bishnoi didn't have a good IPL. Let us just understand that fact. He did play 4 T20Is, 2 against the West Indies, 2 against Sri Lanka, took 4 wickets, seemed impressive, but in the IPL he was caught up. His technical inability to vary his deliveries, if I may have to say, just a googly, just quicker through the air,
13 wickets from 14 games.
Yep, indeed. So it's a big question mark. I think Bishnoi might be there the next cycle, if may I have to say, after the end of the World T20. Perhaps you may look at him at that time. This is just an audition for the core, which you want to explore the depth. What my understanding is, the likes of Ravi Bishnoi and all, keep them as your depth for the next cycle, which will begin after the 2022 World T20. Enhance your skills at that time, and then
Would you want to have Ravi Bishnoi in the 2023 World Cup at home? That's going to be a 50 over World Cup.
for that he will have to start playing ODIs first.
Right.
Because that opportunity will come probably in the 3 ODI series against England. Whether they pick him for that, I don't know. Because India play very few ODIs until the T20 World Cup. They play, I think, only 3 ODIs in this entire cycle. So it's going to be a big call. I think if he does well in ODIs, then you should pick him in the...
No, but also there has to be a decent sample size also on the basis
Sample
of
size,
3
yes.
ODI. I think as of now, also what the management or the selectors, what they would prefer would be to give that core, you know, the players who are actually in the fray, give them as much game time as possible. So you would want to seek a Kuldeep Yadav play as many games as he can, give him those opportunities. Yuzi Chahal, for sure, I think he should be there in that T20 World Cup squad. I don't know, but suddenly, you know, the stakes for Washington Sundar have dropped down considerably.
Injury prone.
Injury prone. So
because he came back from COVID, then had a side strain, then got a finger injury, split webbing. That didn't help his chances at all.
Exactly.
Now Hardik Pandya, as I said, he took 15 matches, he had 8 wickets, but then
didn't bowl those many overs.
Didn't bowl that many. But then Avesh, Arshdeep, Umran. What about these? This will be their litmus test if you have to look at it.
Exactly. So a lot of people actually said that, you know, why have you picked these players who've not performed too well? Ravi Bishnoi, Avesh Khan in the squad for the home series against South Africa. But what selectors have done is they've gone with the continuity. They have included these players so that they don't feel that we didn't get enough opportunities. Just on the basis of our IPL performances, we've been ruled out. We've been, we've been chucked out of the Indian squad.
So if you have to look at it, only Arshdeep and Umran are the uncapped in the Indian side. They have not played any T20Is at home, if you have to look at it. But again, Arshdeep, let's not look at this 38.5, 7.7 economy. I'm saying this, death overs 5.75. That defined Arshdeep, if I may have to say. But will he get a game in the South Africa series?
He should.
He should, no?
See,
along with Umran.
Because see, what I feel is India should definitely be considering that idea of playing a left-arm fast bowler in their team for the T20 World Cup. So if you are considering that, a left-arm fast bowler, and T Natarajan has fallen down in that pecking order because of his injuries. So Arshdeep is now the front runner as the left arm. Mind you, Khalil Ahmed. I was about to say Khalil. Khalil Ahmed also was pretty okay. Was pretty good rather.
But I think again he suffered with injury.
Yes.
Wrong time.
So Arshdeep is my pick for the T20 World Cup in that squad, 15-member squad. As of now, as you said,
even Harshal Patel.
As you said, Bumrah and Shami. Then I think Harshal Patel, Bhuvi, and Arshdeep. 5 paces. That
should be good. Paces. Yeah. Now, if I have to look at the South Africans, they are now much more familiar with the Indian batting conditions. You have to look at bowling, and remember, they are playing a full strength team. A full strength team is there.
Yes.
Very few players played in the IPL, if you know, but look at the impact.
But those who played, they were quite good. Quinton de Kock,
the 3rd highest individual scorer.
I think strike rate is
that's some error that we have had, and I apologize for that. So Quinton 58, if I may have to look at it, 508 runs.
58?
508 runs.
508 runs.
508 runs if I have to look at it. Miller 481 MVP. He was the MVP. Aiden Markram,
he was very good. batting at number 4, 5 for Hyderabad. Makram was very good. It was just that their top order didn't.
But again, if I have to look at it, Kagiso Rabada, 23 wickets. He's going to be the MVP. Nortje, not so much. Jansen, very impressive. If I have to look at it. So the South African lineup, let me just say, it is a very clear-cut thing that I will say in this case.
Yeah, he was close to 150.
140 he had the highest, third highest scorer. Third highest individual scorer.
Yes, after KL Rahul.
So
and,
Quinton
Butler
and Miller, your top and your middle are both sorted out. If I have to look at it.
And this is actually, this series would be a good test for the Indian team. You know, they are not playing with their first choice team. Because as we said, Bumrah, Virat and Rohit would be missing from action. So would be Ravindra Jadeja. So at least these 4 names would be missing from action. But you know, against a South African team led by Temba Bavuma, they are a full strength team.
Tabraiz Shamsi.
Exactly. So it gives you an opportunity to test your ability, to test your players, your bench strength. Against the best South African team.
So June 9th it begins. Delhi, June 11th, 13th, 15th, 19th, 5 matches. But I have my doubts about Bangalore. You know why? June 19th, peak of monsoon. It might be pretty problematic to hold a match there at that time. So the 5-match series begins. The Indian team is assembling here in Delhi on June 5. So the South African team also, no? They are also assembling, I think, on the same day, June 5. Yeah.
From Goat.
Virat, when he opened in T20Is, India did great. I wonder how people, even after seeing KLs in 7 years, don't know that he's not a match winner under pressure.
Goat.
Well, Virat, see, I will just say that in 2022 IPL, he struggled. Okay. But then KL Rahul, again, if I have to look at the strike rate bit, in T20Is, internationals, it's 142, and he has won you certain games. But then whenever we said no, we had a debate, no, when he scored 200s, one India lost, one India won. So in this entire situation, match winning abilities, if I have to look at it, when did Virat start opening in T20Is? If I have to look at it, very recently, during the 2021 series, if I have to look at it,
IPL 2020.
So I don't know. I don't find many statistical relevance on whether Virat is a match winner while opening. If I have to look at it, yes, at number 3, he's sublime. He's won you games out of his own in that. But KL Rahul is your certified opener along with Rohit Sharma. Then KL Rahul fits in. So as a match winner, I really have my doubts on whether Kohli has contributed as an opener. But at number 3, he's definitely won you games. But Rahul, as I mentioned, 1 century, India lost by 1 run, the other India won. So I would say that is my only other assumption in that. Any other chat?
There's one question by Crickshaw that whenever we see an existing talent, we ask them to play all the formats and they end up getting injured. For example, Hardik debuted in 2016, played all the formats in 17 and got injured in 2018.
Well, injury management, if I have to look at it, yeah, I mean, playing all 3 formats is not easy, and basically Hardik, a bowling all-rounder in particular, to maintain his fitness will require immense amount of hard work. Now, Hardik Pandya, you have to understand, he got injured while playing the ODI in the Asia Cup, if I have to look at it. That back injury, he died, and that back injury curtailed his career for a good 2 years, if I have to look at it. No bowling, he didn't bowl in 2 editions of the IPL.
And he had to face a lot of criticism also after that, because he chose not to go to NCA, and then when he was playing, he wasn't bowling. So he had to face a lot of criticism. And you would remember the Australia tour, the last Australia tour, just before the test series.
Yeah. He did bowl 5 overs.
He did bowl a few overs, although not too many people were sure that whether he will bowl or not. But with the bat also, he was very effective. He won you games.
He won that Canberra ODI, which turned the entire, which changed the entire tour.
Yes, he won you. He won you a few games there. Was pretty consistent. Was pretty good. And the kind of innings that he has played this season in the IPL were very similar to what he did in that series. See, Hardik Pandya, we associate Hardik Pandya with those big hits.
Yeah.
But what he's shown in this series, in this IPL, and also in that on that tour of Australia, that he can, he has that ability. He can change his game according to the situation. So he has that game sense and the ability to change his style of batting according to the situation.
And he did have some big hits. 1-6 in example,
Yes,
98 meters
yes,
he hit once. And remember, in qualifier 1, he did play that typical 140 striker. But then who was at the other end? David
Miller.
And if Hardik Pandya is say at number 5 and if Jadeja is at the other end, number 6, maybe Jadeja might be your anchor and Hardik might go for the big hits, or vice versa. Jadeja can go for the big hits, Hardik can be your sheet anchor. So
exactly,
both understand their roles pretty well. So I would say playing all 3 formats is not easy. As Josh Butler, when I had interviewed him about 3 years back, he said, you shouldn't have an ego that you have to perform in all 3 formats. Keep the ego aside, perform in a format that you are best suited for. So Josh Butler is one of the white ball greats in this current era. If you have to look at it, how much? 863 runs in the IPL, second only to Virat Kohli. England's ultimate white ball cricketer in ODIs and T20s. So in tests he is struggling, but then because there is no one else in the England test arena, that is why he has to do it. So that is the way I look at Hardik. Hardik might be bold in patches. Maybe they may not want to aggravate because they may see him as a key player even in 2023.
Exactly.
So, any other chat? That's it? Okay, so 1 week to go for the...
1 week to go.
For the India versus South Africa series. The BCCI might think August we'll finalize our core, but for us, the core finalization begins from this series.
And one bowler that we haven't spoken about, although not too long ago he was also in the fray, although he got himself injured. First, I think he had some hamstring injury, if I'm not, foot injury, leg injury, and then now the back injury, that is Deepak Chahar. We haven't spoken about him much because obviously he is out of action and can't say how much time will it take. By the way, he is getting married today. So congratulations to Deepak Chahar and his would-be wife Jaya. So we'll get you a lot of information on that also.
You are going for the wedding?
Wedding is today. I'm not going to the wedding today.
Okay.
I'm in the office.
You can go after this, no?
Anyways,
it might rain outside now, so let's keep ourselves safe for the
And as it is wedding, I can go after this show or anything. But is it happening in Delhi?
You have to drive down to Jaipur, right?
So not Jaipur.
Then
I think Agra.
Agra. Okay.
That's where he stays. So anyways, I think we can take...
but Deepak Chahar has unfortunately fallen way down the pecking order. Unfortunately, because of the depth that is there. And since he got injured in the IPL, plus it's a stress fracture.
Exactly. But you know, otherwise Deepak Chahar should have been in contention. Why? Because see, if you talk about at least this series, because he's a new ball bowler. New ball bowler, you know, if Arshdeep is there, a death bowler. Umran Malik here is another death bowler, because these are these are two bowlers who I would, or everybody would bank upon, especially in the death. Because Umran, you would remember, he was not given the new ball. He was bowling somewhere in the middle overs and then towards the end or death. Arshdeep, of course, is a fantastic death bowler. So, so Deepak Chahar had a very decent chance of making it to the T20 World Cup squad, but unfortunately, with those back-to-back injuries, may have fallen
down the pecking order. We'll continue the build-up to India versus South Africa every day as soon as the series comes. So, do join Sports Today for all the latest news and information. Press the like, comment, share button. Also press the bell icon. And we are also there on Facebook. So join us for more such stories in the coming days. Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye. Vanakkam.
Vanakkam.